hearken unto me, says the Lord, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no work therein. Then shall there enter into the gates of this city kings and princes, sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain forever. But if you will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering it at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the places of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. Verse 27. You know, that's a very deep verse, and I can actually do a big talk on that. I could invite people in to a seminar and spend several hours. I could spread it into 6 hours. I can invite a stadium of people and really go into what the Lord is saying there, because yes, it is very deep, but it's an essential and an important message. Because can I tell you, the timeline or the time frame is now very slim. We are coming into the end of the preparation of the Sabbath, and the 1,000 years of holy sabbatical rest is actually coming up the pathway. Can I tell you this, folks? And you know, this week I was reading Jeremiah, and I didn't publish the readings I did on Friday. I did a personal recording, and then I meant to come back and record it on the podcasting. But the day was getting on, and I needed to move on with the other tasks I had. So, but I said that Jeremiah said, I was deceived. He said to the Lord, Lord, you deceived me, and I was deceived. You prevailed over me. And I've been toying with that the Lord has deceived him, and he has been deceived. And I've been toying with the thought of that. And I do remember there was a time where I think my mother wanted something out of me, and I found myself thinking, whilst I was trying to play with that, what Jeremiah said to the Lord on Thursday. And you know, as I said, we're not studying Jeremiah, but I'll just flick over to Jeremiah 20. So this is verse 7. So if we go over to just Jeremiah verse 7 here. And it's quite late for me. It's in the morning time. I do intend to start early, and I'll give you my excuse in a while. Just let me keep to what I've been saying. So I'm just flicking over to Jeremiah 20, verse 7. He says, O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. But thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Every one mocketh me. So he says to the Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. So I'm playing with that word. Thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. And I'm trying to think about, what is Jeremiah saying to the Lord? That the Lord has deceived him, and I was deceived. So now, in thinking of it, I recall a time with my mom. She wanted to get away. When I say get away, she wanted something out of me, and so she gave me an impression of a situation, and so I gave in to that situation, and so she was able to get her way. But now looking back on it, it wasn't as serious and as urgent as I thought. There was another way around it. So I began to think, my mother deceived me, and I was deceived, and she prevailed at the time, you see. And so I'm still trying to get to grasp what Jeremiah is saying, and what was I saying, you see. Because I'm saying that she deceived me, but it was love. It was a love that she wanted to share with me. Okay, but then at the time, it came at the time the request that she was making, it kind of caused an inconvenience on me, and it caused a derailment of me that then caused me to miss an opportunity. Yeah. So therefore, whereas she saw it as a movement of love, I saw it as, ooh, had I'd known, I would have made a different decision. You see, had I'd known that the situation wasn't that urgent and that serious, I would have made a different decision. And so, what I was intending to do, I would not have missed that opportunity. But I put everything to one side, to assist my mother, and it was some time later I realized, that could have waited. So she deceived me, and I was deceived, and she prevailed. Yes. So Jeremiah, and I'm leaving this to you to think about it, because I'm still toying, and every now and then I get the flash on how to take it up. That Jeremiah says to the Lord that thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Okay. He says, and so, and you may want to know the background of the story, because the Lord calls Jeremiah, and he instructs him, and he says, go and say such a thing. So the Lord sends Jeremiah now to the son of Emer, Pasha, the son of Emer the priest, who was also chief governor in the house of the Lord, heard Jeremiah prophesy these things. Then Pasha smote Jeremiah the prophet, and put him in the stocks that were in the high gate of Benjamin, which was by the house of the Lord. And it came to pass on the morrow that Pasha brought forth Jeremiah out of the stock. Then said Jeremiah unto him, The Lord hath not called thy name Pasha, but Migor Misabib. For thus says the Lord, Behold, I will make thee a terror to thyself, and to all thy friends, and they shall fall by the sword of their enemies, and thine eyes shall behold it. And I will give all Judah into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall carry them captive into Babylon, and shall slay them with the sword. Moreover, I will deliver all the strength of the city, and all the labourers thereof, and all the precious things thereof, and all the treasures of the king of Judah will I give into the hand of their enemies, which shall spoil them, and take them, and carry them to Babylon. Okay, so I don't want to really spend too much time on Jeremiah when we're talking about the Gospels and Jesus. So Jeremiah, the Lord instructed him to go and give the word of the Lord to these people who were being disobedient and following the heathen way, worshipping idols and burning sons and daughters to Baal and Molech, and making cakes to the Queen of Heaven. So they were doing a lot of wrong, which the Lord referred to it as harlotry or prostitution. So, but in each time that Jeremiah went, he was under some form of punishment. They reproached him. They more or less like spat at him. And this time Pasha the priest smote him, so he would have hit him on the face and put him in prison. So he was really discouraged and hurt. And like he just didn't want to speak to the people anymore. But this is the deceivement here. That he said the Lord's words was like a fire in his bones. So he had to go out and bring the word, even though he was being spat upon. And I have an anonymous caller, which I will answer in a moment. So even though he was, he went out and he was spat upon, they hit him, they put him in prison, they ignored him, and all sorts. The thing is, he still went ahead with the word, and I can really, my caller, I hope my caller will come back. I can really relate to Jeremiah, because I am going through a similar thing here. And that's why I'm saying I'm a delayed messenger, because I have undergone severe punishment. And I can't even begin to express the pain. And and most of the time I just want to give up and give in. But there's just a burning message. And the thing is, I've got my eyes on the results, because there is a beautiful future in the horizon. There is such beauty to come upon this earth that I'm not even going to begin to describe it. You hear all these talks on end times, and on the YouTube. That's where I get the information on end times, because I never knew about end times. The Lord told me in the year 2004 that the humanity is going into a higher evolution and a more advanced form, and the next step of our growth and development is coming into our spiritual being. Okay, so it's only of these last years I'm seeing on the YouTube, they're calling it end time, and Jesus refers to it as the end of an age. So, but when on the YouTube, it disturbs me because it's a culprit. It's the opposite of what the Lord really wants us to know and how to prepare ourselves, because it talks about the Antichrist, and I'm telling you, this whole system, this whole existing system is an Antichrist. So it also indicates that the people have a different appreciation to what the Lord has put into my heart on Antichrist. So already there's a loggerheads going on. So and there's a lot of dismal information being portrayed, and the politics is becoming so serious. People are really taking the political world seriously, and like they're hugging the earth. From my perspective, they are hugging the earth. And the earth really belongs to them, you see. And I'm saying from my perspective because I'm seeing a really beautiful future, and I'm seeing all that we need to arrive there. So the picture that's been painted on the YouTube on the Antichrist and the political scenery and the conflicts that's taking place around the world, it just kind of baffles me, and I must say it deters me, because as soon as I try to say something, a lot of insults, I'm telling you, painful insults really come its way to me. I remember, and now I'm going to tell you my story here, if it's okay to tell you my story, but we're going to come on to Jesus, because we want to speak the word of God. We want the presence. We want to invite the presence of the Lord. And he says that his word is like a fire and like a hammer that breaks the rocks in pieces. And in John, the word is God. Okay, so we're going to come on to Jesus in a moment. But just to tell you my story here, and I'm saying it because I'm a bit like Jeremiah, that I have been the Lord has deceived me, and I am deceived, and He has prevailed. Like my mother, she wanted to show a sort of a love to me, and she deceived me, and I was deceived. But now it's only from my perspective that I felt I'm deceived, because there was something I had to do and I put it aside, which eventually had a consequence on me that caused a punishment to come from me from another party, because I had to bring forth the message, and I put it aside, and so I didn't get the message out as good as I wanted to. And because of who I am, and because I speak differently to most people, therefore there was a severe punishment put upon me. And the Lord has since told me to fight it in the spiritual realm. Fight it in the spiritual realm. So I have yet to resolve that situation. So just to finish off my story, because I want a little bit of sympathy and I want a little bit of understanding here. The Lord has spoke to me and I have said it often. Okay, I have spoken this often. I've said that the Lord has spoke to me in the year 2000, saying